although Alda Merini is the starting point, and her poetry is the starting point, for me, what feels like a very strong thing is madness, creativity, and actually being a woman. So that felt like something that maybe it was to take that from Merini and make it my own, rather than trying to be her. For me as an artist, for me as a human being living in a world where we're constantly being told about how we find happiness, or that it's good to be happy. I don't happen to believe it's necessarily good to be happy. There are a lot more interesting things one can experience in life, you know. So I guess maybe it's something like that. It's that in this disarray of madness, in all of the things that it prevents you from doing, it allows many other things to come in, you know. And that is something that I definitely feel very strongly as a human being, as well as an artist. So maybe it's this quality about her.
What was your entry into that aspect of her inner life, when you feel that there's a richness to the madness and to perhaps the dark side of being a human being? How were you able to pull yourself in there and connect with that quality?
Well, of course, interestingly enough, actually through music. Actually working out how I might sing it, or how it might live in my body in a way that doesn't just feel like I'm delivering a poem or being melodramatic. How does it really live in my body as a performer? And at the same time having the material from Andrea, some information about the vocal stuff, but most of it's improvised, but actually the material that he plays on the playback throughout the performance. And that opens the door for me to how I can go into the text. You know, so it's very interesting how music allows me to go into that world where I find all kinds of nuances of personality, really nuances that change all the time, from everything from madness to ecstasy, you know, and that's definitely through this combination of the music and the words. It's very interesting actually, because when I act, I do quite a lot of comedy stuff. I think I'm quite good at comedy. Certainly it's something that recurs, you know, in some of the stuff that I've done. But I think I'm often singing stuff that's very, very dramatic, and there's something on the edge of madness. And the pieces I've commissioned from composers and the kind of performance I did in my own pieces that I make, the performances that I make, are always on the edge in that way, because I think it's a really, really, really important state, and particularly also for women to be powerful in. You know, that actually madness is not hysteria, madness is something much more powerful, much more eloquent, much more terrifying and wonderful, and it's something that for me, I think it's a really important thing to learn to inhabit. I think it makes me a stronger artist, a stronger human being, you know. So I like very much doing those kinds of roles, and I do them a lot. The interesting thing about music is it's such a difficult thing to pin down, but there you know, like I have this, like in the second section, man, this comes from, and I'm doing something, and it's kind of, I can't get it out of my, you know, it comes to me when I'm walking down the street, it comes to me and it's in my body, and I kind of want to be there, and I can't be there because it's music, and I can't recall the whole thing back into my head at that point in time, you know. So there are those funny little kind of organic changes that, they're not big, but they become a part of you. They're like, it's what I always say to my partner, I like to say to him, I'm very excited about doing this show because I know that afterwards my DNA will be transformed forever. And there is that feeling that I do, whenever I do something, my DNA is transformed. That's it, I'm a different human being, and it's in all kinds of tiny, tiny little ways, you know. We want to prevent these kind of catastrophic situations. On the other hand, I wonder, for her, she wouldn't have been the poet she was. She wouldn't have, you know, like maybe the disasters that occur to us are not so bad sometimes. Maybe we try and make everything safe and nice. I don't know what we'll be left with.
Do you think, as an artist, as a woman, as a human being, that there can be a reason to put yourself in that situation or something similar voluntarily in order to access a certain point of very intense feeling or creation or experience? Or what's your take on that?
I wonder what my take is on that. Part of me thinks it's a really kind of what's the word, like a presumptuous thing to do somehow. But on the other hand, is anything really voluntary? If you feel it's something you really, really, really need to do to put yourself in that position, is it really voluntary? You know, I'm not sure. On the other hand, if you're someone who has so little stuff that really challenges you in your life that you have to go and find things, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question. I think I have a lot of different answers, and I guess maybe I would say one couldn't. I think in a way maybe being an artist is doing that anyway. Actually, you know, I don't have to be here doing this, but actually the experience of doing it is incredibly cathartic for me. It's incredibly enriching and a rewarding experience. But, you know, and it's certainly uncomfortable, and I don't have to do it. So maybe that's a little bit like that.